This song helped define heavy metal over 40 years ago, and you can still hear its influence in metal to this day. Iron Maiden, The Trooper, off their album Peace of Mind. That came out in 1983. Definitely the oldest track we've done in the series so far, alongside awesome, like, you know, songs from Sepultura, Slipknot. And since we just did a newer track like Architects, I want to go way back because there's so many old tracks that influence modern metal, you know, Metallica, Slayer, Black Sabbath, etc. If you guys want to see videos on those, let me know. But speaking of old things, you guys might notice we are just in the process of moving. Sorry, the studio's still getting set up. But because we're moving, I'm also selling a bunch of my old gear through Sweetwater's Gear Exchange. A lot of this gear you see me use on the channel over the years, whether it's like my 7-string Schecter or the E2 Eclipse, which I've used in like a lot of videos from like E Standard, heaviest riffs, all the way to anytime I do a guitar cover in E Standard, as well as the actual Marshall amp and cab that you always see in the back of my videos. Gonna be selling that too. And a bunch of other cool like pedals, gadgets and stuff. Again, I just used over the years. If you guys are interested, click the link in the description, go check it out. It's a Gear Exchange, Sweetwater, go show them the love. Go check it out. Now you can hear the influence in this track, whether it be from the harmonies, whether it be from the riffs, the melodies, the structures, of course the sick solo, all the way seeping into subgenres of metal, which we all love today, you know, whether it's melodic death metal, metalcore. Oh my god, the amount of times that 578 has basically ripped off The Trooper, as well as Judas Priest and a few other bands. But nonetheless, as soon as you hit play on this track, I mean, first of all, oof, it's pretty nostalgic. You know, we have this epic guitar intro. I miss those. Those don't really happen as much. This is definitely more like a classic rock and a classic heavy metal era when everyone wants to be a guitar hero and all that. Guitar was the focus of everything. Let's be real. That's why everyone wants to be guitarists. But this right here is the reason 40 years later, or at least one of the biggest reasons, this track is so goddamn legendary. Dude, that riff, oh my god. I remember listening to it first time when I was like really young. I don't know, like 7 maybe. And like it bringing back so much nostalgia and happiness and excitement because it has so much energy, this riff, so much power. You know, it's not like a chunky riff like that. It just is so melodic. It's so catchy and it's kind of tricky. You know, a little fast paced, but it contains this excitement in it, man, that just makes you want to just do some cool shit, bro, with the dual harmonies. I mean, right there, again, if you're a kid and you heard this song, you want to play guitar and you need a friend to play guitar because you guys both got to play those harmonies, and you hear that harmony influence, oh my god. You know, you actually hear bass. Hell yeah, basses. You know, it wasn't just a computer. But you just hear that gallop, that, you know, we lead in the horses, we charge in, and then the drums just pacing, just with this really cool, hyperactive kind of groove until we get to this verse. You'll take my life, but I'll take yours too. You know, it's just this epic, like the guitar is setting up, now the vocals are kicking in. You know, again, the vocals gave space to the instrumental, and now the instrumental is giving space to the vocals to kind of lead in the charge, no pun intended. So when you're waiting for the next attack, you better stay. And then we get into it. Dude, gallops, man. They're horsing around a lot in this song. I'm sorry. It's just such a banger. I get excited, dude. And then right here you get the oh, you know, you get some O's, and you just get this nice open chord that just lets those O's come in while the groove is just still. I was listening to just the instrumental a little bit. This drummer's doing work. And then right here, dude, you're like, what goes next? What are they gonna do? Well, you've probably heard this song before because, you know, it's old. But we go right here, man. We go back into that epic. It just makes you feel like you're soaring above the clouds and just metering down into the earth. Like there's something inherently so captivating and addictive with that riff, man, that you can listen to it a million times. And obviously I love that it's the main hook of this entire song. That riff is the focus. And I think that is a big reason why this song is so big. This is the thing too, this song is so massive. The Iron Maiden and a lot of bands back here also had progressive songs, sometimes like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. This is a bit of a shorter song where it's a lot of just copy paste repeating. You get a verse, you get to the point, and the whole point of the song is always kind of just to get back to that. Oh man, you just pinch harmonic, dude. Then we're just back in the gallops. And it leaves so much space where there could be a lot going on, you know, like modern day, they would probably be like. But they don't need that. This just keeps it open. It's more of a call to arms track. It's catchy. It can be an arena banger, which is something so cool about it. And also just the you know, the rhythm pacing of Bruce and the vocal cadences as well as the melodies complement what's going on so well and help really pace the song, particularly during these verses, because you have so much energy with that main riff that it's kind of a hard deal to like not lose that energy right when you come out of it and to still pace. That's the coolest part of the song, obviously. So then coming out of there and it not being like, oh, I'm bored now, is really hard. That's a lot of pressure to put on your vocalist to be like, yo, don't suck. You got to keep that sick energy. And he does such a great job during these verses to do that, man, along with the drums as well as the bass and just the pump and just you know, just like this constant groove, which is a gallop, not the grooviest type of groove, but it is a groove. It's you know, nowadays it would be pitch shifting and just like on a low string. It's crazy what a pitch shifter could do. And then, dude, it could have gone back into the. And they go into a solo. Now, again, this part is not a thing that I think has had a lot of influence in particular parts of modern metal. However, when it comes to one of my favorite eras of metal, which is still prominent in modern metal, you see the revival of it, of the 5/7/8 chord, the melodic metalcore bands like the Kill Switches, the Bullets, the Trivium, which again, you see that seep through now to modern bands like Boundaries, Dying Wish, etc., etc. Back here, I think every song had a solo and it had to be banger. And I kind of liked that. It's give and take. Not every song needs a solo. However, this is definitely one of the most legendary solos. Very bluesy, very classic pentatonic. You know, that very classic, just fun pentatonic-y, bluesy. Genius. Again, back in the day, very common. This is not something we hear a lot nowadays because usually a band picks, you know, a key and that's the key, or they just, this whole song doesn't really have a key, maybe. Very modern metal stuff. They do a key change here, which is so subtle, but so well done to the relative keys they're trying to switch to. Majority of listeners will not notice this is a different key. They go from that E minor to A minor. And again, you don't really notice because of how many notes overlap between those two keys in those two scales. And that's what makes it so this solo 2.0 just feels refreshing. Again, this is a trick a lot of bands in the 80s would kind of use. Not really common now, but it's cool to just, I don't know, go back and hear bands do that and do it really well. Again, you're just, the whole song, it's just gallops. It's just, you're on a horse, nay mother. Right, like you're just non-stop. That's the energy that keeps carrying things forward. There's not really, you know, there's no break in that rhythm, you know, besides just the chorus, which just goes, and then it still goes, like there is a singular rhythm, you know, which I think that's something to appreciate, especially because it's not a very crazy song. There's not a lot of things going on. Oh yeah. I feel like K-Mac trying to like learn a solo, trying to play a solo without ever learning it. It was close enough, right? And then you get out of the solo, you're like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go back to the, you know, like a chorus? That's a very classic thing to do. And what I love is they're just like, nah, fam. And you just want to solo over this shit. And then it gets back into that verse, man. I love that they use that main riff as a connector, but also the most important part of the song. And it just, every time you hear it, even though I think you in the song, you hear it. Now here, we're at the point, we're already at almost 4 minutes of the song, almost right here at the ending here. A lot has happened, but not much at the same time. Okay, now we get into the verse 2, and like we get right into the verse instead of kind of building it slowly this time. And then you have that riff happen, and you got the chord, or then you have the solo. You don't see that as much in like modern metal slam stuff, but all the other stuff of the song you do, especially the groove aspect, especially the harmony and melodic aspect of this. This is just a masterclass in acing a lot of those things with such simplicity, man. And ending with the intro, we ending with the in, we out in with the in with the out. None of that made sense. Don't worry about it. And something about that too, when you loop it, usually this is the important thing, which a lot of people nowadays care about because people have songs as playlists. Even though they end with this, it's so well done that you're still hyped and you want to listen to it again. So it's Zoomer proof. It's replay proof, which is awesome. People don't get sick of it because you get right in, and that's the only time that part of the song happens. So you in with the out and then you in with it again. Of course, when it comes to the legacy of particularly 5-7-8 music, I feel like Judas Priest, Electric Eye is probably a stronger 5-7-8 reference of the old school times. However, when it comes to melodic death metal, when it comes to melodic metalcore, when it comes to melodic genres, the influence of it just has seeped through those waters of those genres. To this day, man, you still hear it in all those genres, and that's something that's so cool to me. Even though it don't got slams and you get stoked. Doesn't matter how heavy of music you listen to. You'll be like, oh, that's cool. Like my dad showed me that when I was like 5, but like it goes hard, bro. You know, and you gotta show that respect. And anyways, what do you guys think? Iron Maiden the Trooper, is it a legendary track that has seeped its influence all throughout the 40 years of metal and more history? Or is it, I don't know, is it just a song that makes you want to buy a horse? Let me know. All right, we gonna race horses or we gonna race happiness? That's some deep knowledge for you. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know what else you guys want to see in the series. I've been having a lot of fun doing these. However, there's also a lot of big things coming. I'm just getting the room set up, so thank you guys for the patience. There's a lot of really cool content I have planned coming up. It's going to revolve around celebrating metal, fun metal things as always, and writing and stuff like that. So be sure to keep an eye on the channel as well as Discord and Twitch and all that. But thank you guys. Hope you've been liking it. And I'm going to go buy a horse.